Ladies and gentlemen, Ubisoft CEO, and I never know how to pronounce his name, unfortunately, so I apologize if I butcher it. Vess, whatever. I'm going to just call him Vess, just because it's easier. CEO Vess says that he's dismayed about malicious and personal online attacks directed at team members. Company's community manager appears to have animus against white men. Okay. Now let's kind of break this down a little bit. All right. The Ubisoft CEO, who I believe he was one of the people who was trying to tout Skull and Bones as a quad A game, right? Like kind of like a quad A, something past triple A, whatever bullshit, right? The fact that this person is trying to talk about malicious and personal online attacks, he's obviously referencing, at least in my opinion, he's referencing Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Now, I got to be honest with you. This person said something pretty extreme, and I'm going to go over it. He responded, "One thing I am concerned about right now is the malicious and personal online attacks that have been directed at some of our team members and partners. I want to make it clear that we at Ubisoft condemn these hateful acts in the strongest possible terms, and I encourage the rest of the industry and players to denounce them as well." Now, this guy, in my opinion, is putting this out there because of the debacle that happened with Alyssa Mercante and how he is essentially requesting, she was requesting the mainstream gaming industry to speak out. All of these community managers that are like basically hitting the beehive, all of them that are hitting the beehive, they are the ones who are asking all the big higher up people to speak for them, right? And then it's amazing because, okay, here you are denouncing gamers, because that's really what you're doing. You're denouncing gamers because you don't like what gamers are saying about the DEI nonsense. But you're out here denouncing gamers, but I don't see any of you in the mainstream gaming industry denouncing your psychopathic community managers, your psychopathic developers, your psychopathic fucking PR teams, your psychopath, like every single, I don't see you denouncing any of them. And there is plenty of evidence to showcase that a lot of them are insane. But that's because you like them like that. They're easily controllable like that, right? It allows you to control those kind of people. So you're out here denouncing gamers, but you got to understand, we're the ones that line your pockets at the end of the day. Those psychopaths, all they do is cost you money, whether it's in payroll or whether it's in bad press that leads to less sales. All they do is cost you money. We're the ones that line your pockets in all actuality. But the problem is now, what's happening is that they're making games for the modern audience. And you know what the modern audience is? It's not the psycho LGBTQ people. It's not all that. No, the modern audience is ESG investors. That's the modern audience. So they're making these video games in the hopes to garner ESG investment, not actually try to build a fan base or get money from gamers anymore. We're not the number one. We're not the number one, people who they're trying to get money from. So they are constantly doing this, and this virtue signaling nonsense. I'm going to tell you right now, this person might be the first, but he will not be the last. He will not be the last. He is going to be the first of many that are going to come out here and try to pretend as all of a sudden they need to speak out against this stuff, right? Because they were quiet before. They were quiet before, but now they all want to start talking, because you know what happens when one of them speaks? Now all of them start speaking. So I'm going to be very curious to see over the next couple of weeks how many mainstream gaming, like CEOs, executives, whatever, how many of them are going to come out and start speaking out against this stuff. And what's going to end up happening, you guys already know what's going to happen. It's going to be a Streisand effect, right? It's going to be a domino effect. It's going to be a massacre. That's really what it is. It's going to be a massacre of epic proportions, because you're going to have all these gaming studios fucking around, and then they're going to find out very quickly. Yeah, you might have that ESG investment, but that's only going to go so far, because we know that if you don't get supported, most of these companies will absolutely flop. We've seen a lot of these studios close down for that exact reason. They fucked around and they found out. Ubisoft is a little bit of a bigger company. So it might take a little bit longer, but they will fuck around and find out for a little bit too long, and they're going to go the way of the dodo bird, just like every other studio. That's just how it goes. So I honestly can't wait. I can't wait to see this, the backlash for this come out more. But let's talk about the community manager. So community manager Shauna Jones. I remember making a video on Shauna Jones a couple of times, not too recently, but I made a video because this psychopath's been doing this for a long time. Let me show you some of the tweets here. As shared via screenshots to X by user Cooks12, Jones posted back in January 2020, if you're a white dude complaining that diversity being raised is an issue, then people are going to keep raising the lack of diversity until we see change. That shit's got to change, man. In another post in September 2020, she wrote, love that if you say you're trying to be more body positive, white men assume that you're saying you're fat and tell you to go to the gym, bitch. I'm a size 12. Being body positive has nothing to do with weight. Now, I mean, listen, I don't know women's sizes or anything, but if correct me if I'm wrong, I believe a size 12 is not exactly on the thin side. You know what I mean? It's not, like you're not exactly on the thin side as a size 12, so I don't really know what you're trying to say here, but it is what it is, right? She also wrote in July of 2020, please don't tell me gender isn't an issue in the games industry when you are a white male. Diversity in general is an issue in the industry. I guess as a white male who's not always represented, it's easier to not know or see the misrepresentation in studios. Oh my God. What do you even say to this? Like, what do you honestly even say to this? It's the same shit that we hear all of these diversity shills say all the time. This DEI fucking nonsense, bro. Yeah, no, DW, exactly. Size 12, dude, she's fat. Yeah, no, I know. She's trying to say a size 12 is not large. Like, what are we doing? Like, are you just lying to yourself? Obviously you are. Like, that's a rhetorical question. She also criticized streamer Ninja for not teaching about white privilege. Oh, I remember this bitch. I remember this I remember this lady. This was ridiculous. Read this for a second. In case you guys don't know, read this. She also criticized streamer Ninja for not teaching about white privilege on his streams. She wrote in January of 2021, Ninja is boasting about his white privilege by doing this. He has the potential to influence millions of kids and chooses to be a sack of beans. Use your platform for good if you have the opportunity. Don't do a Ninja. Yeah, this is the woman that thought it was a good idea for Ninja to talk about identity politics to his 12-year-old fans. That's the kind of person that we're dealing with right now. That's the kind of person Shauna Jones is. So yeah, I remember this completely. In December 2020, she wrote, Gamer Boys ruin online games. Well, guess what? Without those Gamer Boys, you would not have online games to bitch about in the first place. Think about that for a second, right? Shauna Jones is the kind of person to call Dr. Disrespect disgusting, and meanwhile, she wants all the kind of ideologies to be interjected to young kids.